Oh my goodness. That's it. We're back. I can't believe this. One, it's a little uncomfortable for me to be on camera right now because the last bit of podcast I was doing was just the audio, no video. But the real way forward is to hop on and do a video. So I hope this works out pretty well. I hope you can watch it or at least listen to it. And anyways, today's topic is pretty fucking short, and it's just this: I'm back into making content. I'm back into working on my own stuff, and I feel like I owe you all an explanation. For those of you that have followed along, I've got some people that actually follow along on Spotify. It's still amazing to me that there are people that take my advice and that it's helpful to them and that they want to listen to me. Truly, I am so grateful for that. You have absolutely no idea. And one of the coolest things that I learned while stepping away, my last post on my website was back in like May or June of last year. The last podcast was about the same time. I can check here, but that's not important because I know it was a while ago, and I feel like I owe people an explanation. So let's just start there. I started making this content in 2022, and it was really just, I've explained this before, it was just for me to go on camera and get uncomfortable. I started reading books, and one of the major themes was to get uncomfortable, do things that are uncomfortable, and lo and behold, it is truly the way forward, and I will preach this time and time again. If you are not uncomfortable and you're not a little sweaty and awkward and feeling weird, then you're really not growing, and that's okay. Maybe you don't want to grow. Maybe you just want to do the same thing over and over and feel comfortable, and that's cool too. Nothing wrong with that. However, if you're into growing and learning like I am, and like hopefully the people who are listening to this are into, then you want to get uncomfortable and you want to seek out those situations. I'm rambling already. I haven't done this in a while. Please excuse me. And I haven't been on video, so that feels a little different as well. But my point is trying to find the discomfort. And I started doing that, and that's what led to creating the website, starting the podcast, making the videos on TikTok, and sharing them on the Reels on Facebook and Instagram. Anyways, long story short, I was doing it for a couple months very intensely. I felt great about it, and then I fell off. I don't know what happened exactly. It was a couple years ago, but my guess is, you just miss one day, and then you miss another, and then that was it, and it kind of snowballed. Then I got back into it for a couple months, and I went intensely again, and that was great, and I felt great being back on it and everything. And then I got offered a really good job or a good opportunity, and again, part of me was like so focused on just doing my own content and really going all in on this, which I am doing now, and making it work. But I went for the job. It was the safe bet. It was the right thing to do at the time, and lo and behold, the job took a lot of my resources, a lot of my attention, a lot of my resources. So this was back in June 2023. It took a lot of my energy from working on my own thing, and I started working on other projects, which I loved. I really, truly loved what I was doing. I was researching different brands in the B2B and tech space. Anyways, it was nice, and it was remote. So I did that for a while, and then I was able to go travel. So this was kind of my dream. It's amazing too. I'll get into visualization and all that woo-woo stuff. I still can't get over it. I don't want to go too woo-woo with it, but I really believe if you just close your eyes every single night and you get really clear on what you want, not it will happen. What happens is you just get clear. I realize again and again, people just don't know what they want exactly. Like, what exactly do you want? What emotions do you want to feel? And like all of these things, I would sit down and just, it came true. I wanted remote work in the content space, and I got all of that, and I wanted to be able to go to South America. It was one of my dreams. So anyways, I made that happen in October 31st of 2023. I got on a jet plane and flew to Colombia. And again, at this point, I had bought the camera and I wanted to make videos and write content about it, but I was working at the same time and trying to travel. And you just learn as you go, and you learn as you do things. I really thought I was going to be like a travel blogger and a travel writer, and it just didn't happen that way. I put a lot of time into work, and in the free time, I obviously kind of went out and explored. And I'll talk more about digital nomad life and why I hated it so much and why it's not for me and why I think it's not for a lot of people. And it's glamorized on social media. And a lot of people think it really is for them. Maybe this is age, but I'm realizing what really is important. And digital nomad life kind of hinders or doesn't allow for what is really important. I'll make more episodes on that later, but this one is really just about I'm back. Again, a lot of times when I do these, it is just for me to get back on and make a video, and I hope this does help. And the main idea is I'm back, and I feel like I owed everybody an explanation for disappearing for about a year. But that was it. I got the job, and then I went to travel, and then I was just kind of working and traveling, doing the digital nomad life, and this kind of all fell on the back burner. I stopped making the podcast. I really haven't written articles. I wrote thousands of ideas down, but I just never sat down and actually wrote the articles. And I feel like for me personally, I need real structure and routine, and travel, even if you're doing the digital nomad life, it takes some time to get into that, a couple weeks, finding the gym, meeting some people, some clubs, not clubs, but like hobbies clubs, foreign language exchanges, things like that. And then you build it up, and then it takes time to get into those things. So to keep something so consistent like exercise, meditate, doing a podcast, making the video, I kind of fell off that, and there was also some perfectionism of like, I was making good videos towards the end. At least on my TikTok, I was getting, thousands, 5,000, 6,000 views, and I felt like I had the standard that I wanted to keep up with. And with traveling, I just never really got in the groove. I did a little bit. Actually, I am proud. It's always that thing, right? You're going to look back and be like, damn, I wish I'd started sooner. Or I wish I had done more. But I did start when I went to Patagonia. And then that was like my main point to prove the internet wrong. I'll share all that later, the videos and my thoughts on that, and why I think the Googleization of travel has really messed things up. There are a lot of things I want to talk about, if you can't tell. But again, I disappeared, and I feel horrible about that. But it was because of the job and the travel, and I just didn't know how to navigate that lifestyle. And even after I was laid off on my job in March of 2024, and I just went on and continued to travel, but I didn't really know how to get back into the video making and the podcast. And there's something that happens when you're so far, you like start something and you're excited and you go in, and then you kind of stop doing it for a while, and there's this thing that plays in your head, and I have here in my notes why it is just as hard to start again as it is to just start the first time. However, it really isn't that hard to start again when you compare it to just starting. If you haven't ever gone to the gym in your entire life, it's going to be so difficult to go there, and I understand that. If you haven't eaten healthy, you have no fucking clue what to do or what eating healthy is, and it's so difficult to start. But in many cases, if you can get going for a couple months, maybe you're not paying attention to it, you're probably not, but you're picking up an insane amount of knowledge along the way, and you're learning so much. And I'll talk about this with habits and discipline, and I think the self-help space is all completely wrong about how we talk about this, and it's messing people up, like this discipline. But real discipline is coming back to something. It's not like forcing yourself to do it every single day. And I was doing this too, of like getting up at 5 a.m., running like 6 miles every morning in the winter cold, freezing snow coming down. It was epic. I hated it. Anyways, we'll talk about that later. But what I'm trying to say is you pick up this knowledge of how to do things. So right now I fell off for almost a year, maybe even longer, of not making really any content, no TikToks, no Facebook Reels, no podcasts. I haven't really written an article and published it. So all of these things, I've been making videos with my trusty DJI Osmo Action 4, apparently better than the GoPro. I love the thing. But I haven't really sat down to like edit them and put them out. So I hit a block of, I don't know how to use like Final Cut Pro. I don't know how to edit. And then I told myself this story where I just didn't start again. And even right now, I hit a little roadblock in Spotify. Used to let you go on and just record it right on their platform and just post your podcast. But now I have to do it on another app called Riverside. And apparently it's a video. And then I'm going to share that. So we will see how that kind of works. I don't really know even how to do that. But I have the knowledge of how to start again. I have the microphone. I knew how to plug it in. I knew how to figure out Spotify and log into my account. I knew what to say. I knew how to take the notes. I had the template here. So you have this knowledge to start again. It is really, really difficult, but it is easier. So just remember that. I think that's a great point. I want to leave with you is like, yes, you're going to fail. Yes, you're going to lose your habit. Yes, life is going to happen. You're going to stop exercising for a couple weeks or a month. Yes, absolutely, 100%. I used to have this idea, and if you watch my videos, going exercising and meditating every single day for like 550 days. That's bananas now that I think about it. But I had this idea of like, oh, I can't fail. I can't mess up. And it was great. I loved it. It got me really to a great place mentally, physically, and career-wise. But life's going to happen, and you're going to miss some stuff. So know that you have the knowledge to start again. So right now, missing all of this, I know exactly how to get right back into making the content. Okay, let's see. So why I disappeared? Yeah, I'm blaming it on something else, and I shouldn't. I lost my way with the content, and I think I was making so much self-improvement or self-help content and books that when I traveled, I stopped reading as much. There is a reason for that. I didn't really trust people in South America, and some things were a little bit scary, so I didn't want to walk around with my headphones in or my phone out. Way too dangerous. But I could have still done it at home. And then I didn't really know how to make travel content. I wish I had, because I do travel and I think I'm really good at it. And I did spend 10 months in South America, but I have some stuff from Colombia. I have some stuff from Brazil and Carnival and Buenos Aires, maybe not so much, but some stuff in Santiago. And that was another thing too. When I made content, I hate the cookie cutter bullshit. Like I hate the same video of like, here's exactly what to pack. Now here's my affiliate link. Buy this. I just made a video today of all my packing stuff, and it was just a mess. And I hope it helps people, because it's the real thing. Like, you don't know how to pack for the places you're going to. You don't know what weather to expect. And then when you go and come back is a better indication. You can see the things that you used and didn't use. So it's messy, and I hope it's helpful. And just I was so tired of the bullshit stuff on like TikTok, like Medellin is the best city in the world for digital nomads. Is it really? I don't know. Food was kind of, people are like, food's amazing. Is it really? Tell me one really, really amazing dish that there is in Colombia. I mean, I had some chicken and some veggies and things like that. Nothing was really amazing. In Medellin, I know this doesn't happen to everybody, but there's a concern for getting drugged in certain areas with scopolamine. So, I mean, is it amazing? Sure. Be safe, but then you see these content creators are like, you need to go to Poblado, it's the greatest place, but that's where the danger is, and that's where all the foreigners go. And then you kind of live in a bubble. So, I try to travel like outside of the bubble. I try to be different, and one of the things I did run into after traveling for so long is just, it's hard to get out of the bubble now. It really, truly is. A little disappointed with that, but I'm also coming to grips with it, and I don't want to be that guy that's like, oh, it used to be so different when you traveled. But it was, because in 2006, when I went to backpack, I had a rough guides. That was it. I don't even know how I got around. No idea. No maps. No, nothing, no context, no, this is the best restaurant in the area, none of that. And I'll talk about, again, I'm excited about that idea, concept that I'm kind of working out, is the Googleization of travel and decision making. Okay, and I'll leave it with that. I kind of touched on the digital nomad life not being for me, and just what to expect moving forward. For the next 30 days, starting September 10th, I'm going to make a podcast. The videos, I kind of realized that I want to make a video each day, but I actually prefer this medium. And that's another thing I learned, as I was trying to do so much, and I still am, I want to be on Facebook in my group. I want to be on TikTok because that's kind of fun and new and exciting, and it's great exposure. But I like the podcast. I like this. I like to talk. I'm very curious. I want to get other guests on here soon when I figure out a little bit more of what I'm doing, and just ask questions about books and authors and processes and things that maybe you guys want to hear, or other travelers. I love talking about this stuff. So I want to focus on the things that kind of feel good and the things that I've thought about. And I think about passion all the time, passion and purpose. And I have this like love-hate relationship. I just don't think passion or purpose exist. But I also think there are things that like we are good at and we enjoy, but we don't know yet because we haven't really tried. But this is the thing I think of like, how can you know you like something that doesn't really exist yet? Like for me, I could never have known I wanted to make content because 10 years ago, it wasn't a thing. It didn't exist. It wasn't possible. I wanted to, kids want to be, what's your dream? I want to be a firefighter, policeman, astronaut. It's the same bullshit. So my point is, for those things, you don't really know until you try. And there are so many new things happening right now. But anyways, I want to go with what feels good. And the podcast is something that I really, really thought about. It is the first thing. Aside from writing, I'm really, really into writing. And I've written tons of ideas. I just realized for my writing, I need a set structure and I need to sit down every day and just write. So I'll have some posts coming out, 30 posts every single day coming out for the next 30 days. I am going to post this evening. And then my newsletter will be coming out once a week. And then the big new change, aside from this podcast and the videos, is going to be a weekly YouTube video based on all of my travels that have happened before, interspersed with, who knows, some of this podcast content, just me riffing and talking about books, travel. I think people are really into the kind of travel aspect. I've never forgotten about health and eating healthy, although that's another thing too I do want to talk about in another episode. I'll leave a note. Coming back to America, careful, coming back to North America or the United States. I got yelled at a lot for saying I'm from America. When I was in South America, they don't like that. So coming back to the United States, the food immediately changes. It felt different. I was eating some carrots the other day and I was like, just taste a little different. There's something about, I'm not saying it's good or bad. I'm just saying it's different. Tasted a little different. Okay? Maybe a farmer's market in Rio, walking down the street, grabbing some fresh fruit and veg versus here at the store. I don't know. Little different. Good or bad? No, probably not. Either one. It just is what it is, right? You're still getting the same nutrients and all that stuff. But I'm rambling on. I usually like to make these about 20 minutes. So that's what happened here. For those of you that stuck around, and I know there's still some people in my Facebook group, and I am so truly, I could cry about this. It's amazing to me that people have stuck around. I just changed something in my Facebook group the other day trying to prepare myself, and people started commenting, and I was just blown away that I can help people. And that was another issue I ran into, is this whole kind of content space seems to lead, or I thought it led one way to being a coach, and that wasn't for me. I want to help people. I was so stuck. I was so lost. I didn't know how to exercise. I didn't know how to have good habits. And then when I fell off all of those things, now I know how to start again. And I realize I have even more knowledge and more help to give people. But I didn't want to be really a coach. And now I've kind of changed my story on that, because I truly now believe I can help because I've helped myself. I guess when I was going through the process, I didn't believe it, but all I'm trying to say is I'm extremely grateful for those people that are still a part of my life and my community and still listen. And for those of you that listen to this now, this is it. I'm just truly honored and grateful. There's a lot that goes on there, that imposter syndrome of who am I to do this, right? Who am I to go online and talk about how to improve and habits and productivity and eating healthy? I mean, I do read a lot and research a lot, and I feel like I have a good bit of information I can share with people. So I've become more confident in that. But yeah, there is still that imposter syndrome of who am I to do this? So yeah, we're still working on that. I don't think that voice will ever go away. It hasn't in the years. Even the time I've taken off of this, I guess I've always thought about writing again and then coming back and the podcast. And yeah, that voice will always be there. You're always going to have some self-doubt. And it's about realizing that, call it what you will. Mark Manson calls it your demon, right? Like, it's always going to be there. That thing that, like, talks to you, tells you not to go exercise or eat the hamburger or have the pizza every day. You can have that stuff sometimes. I've totally come around on health. Like, health is so complex, right? It involves so many factors. But yeah, it could be that voice inside your head that tells you not to do it. And then it's just up to you whether or not to listen to those feelings. But anyways, we're back over a year off of this. I want to go all in on this content. I truly love it. I'm still reading with the books. I'm still journaling. But things have changed, right? Like, I don't journal as much every day like I force myself to, and the morning pages with Julia Cameron and those kinds of things. That didn't work for me. Maybe it did, but I was just saying the same thing over and over. Now I journal if I have a problem to work through, but I also like to journal my day and schedule. So you got to find kind of what works for you. But yeah, so what to expect moving forward. I'm going to be making a podcast every day for the next 30 days. I will be posting for the next 30 days an article. I will be posting one YouTube video every week starting this weekend. I think the first one will be coming out. And then, some social media stuff here and there. And then my newsletter, which I want to... I'll send out today, and it's really just the same as this. Like, I'm back. I apologize for disappearing, and for those of you that stuck around, I am insanely, truly grateful. See you tomorrow.